Nobody has ever suffered from the need to come into existence before they were born. Literally nobody. Nobody ever desired to be born. We can only decide whether we like life or not, and whether we desire it or not, once we're in it, obviously. And yes, many people like it, and desire it, and justify it, and they are very, very thankful for being born, and thankful for being given this wonderful gift of life. Even I like my life from my point of view right now, from my limited subjective perspective. But I can understand rationally that if I was never born, I would not have suffered from the fact that I like my personal life right now and that I would miss out on that. I would not suffer from missing out on life. Doesn't matter how beautiful my life might become, if I never existed in the first place, I would not yearn for that beauty at all. There is no need to need it when you don't exist. So I'm a good example of someone who isn't really depressed and who thinks his life sucks and that therefore life itself sucks, etc. No, the thing is, I perfectly understand the perspective of non-existence. The problem is that many people relate non-existence with darkness, depression and sadness. To put an end to your existence is so negative. Like, oh my god, I'm such a life-hating asshole for telling people that it is a gift to have never been born. But the argument being made here is that it's not a negative when your existence never began in the first place. Never being born does not create a deficit for you. It's not a negative. You can't miss out on the good experiences of life because you don't freaking exist when you are never born. It's not that the beauty of life is taken away from you and that you have to sit in this non-existing darkness forever. No, if you don't exist, then there is no sitting in darkness forever either. There is no beauty nor darkness, and therefore it's not a negative thing to bring nobody into existence. It's also not a positive, it's a neutral. It cancels out both positive and negative, both good and bad. It ends the endless competition between good and bad, and neutrality is the end of all opposites. It is the end of all inequalities. It is absolute equality, the one and only moral goal that we are pursuing. God damn it. The reason why you exist is because your parents made a subjective decision. According to their point of view, your existence was necessary, but only because they have made that choice. There was no objective, universal, rational reason behind your existence. Your parents didn't possess godlike intelligence for the necessity to justify your existence. And it all basically boils down to the one and only big reason. You exist because of desire. Your parents were chasing you because they needed you to satisfy themselves or for whatever reason. And this whole argument to give you a chance to experience the beauty of life doesn't make sense at all from the perspective of non-existence. If you don't exist, you're not missing out on a chance. You can't give someone a chance if that someone does not exist. There is nobody there to give someone a chance to begin with. Therefore, there is nobody there yearning for a chance to experience life. Now, that logical statement by itself should be enough to understand that you should keep the non-existing state of those who are not born yet untouched. It's not the desire of the non-existent beings to be born. It is the parents' desire. Whatever reason the parents are using to justify procreation, it's always because of the parents' desires, to serve the need of the parents. Because it is impossible to serve the need of the non-existent desires of the non-existing beings. Non-existence doesn't need to be served. That's why there is no need to convert the non-existing beings into existing beings. That's the simple logic behind this all. So without your parents' desires, you wouldn't be here. Life exists in abundance because beings get horny. Male species will chase fertile females, and females like to get impregnated and raise their offsprings. That's pretty much the biggest and most foundational desire of life itself. And we justify this desire for procreation because, first of all, it feels good. Orgasms feel good, and that's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that the release of semen, the seed of life, creates such a pleasurable experience. This is a major sign that nature wants us to procreate. It's a built-in desire of biology to breed as much as we can, to improve our DNA as fast as we can. Second of all, somehow we feel that life is incomplete without procreation. It doesn't complete our life goals. We must put the next generation on this planet to experience life and to improve humanity. And so it's all about improvement pretty much. And by the time that life actually is fully improved and completed, there will be no more need for procreation. And that's why the most intelligent and the most enlightened and the most developed beings on this planet understand that there is no need to procreate because they are completed. Their life is fully completed. There is no desire anymore to pass their genes onto the next generation because it can't be perfected anymore. It has been completed. The evolution of DNA has been completed. That's the ultimate stage of life. That's what DNA ultimately desires. Complete freedom from limitations. Any field that prevents you from improving is a limitation, and it blocks your freedom. So what we want is total freedom in all possible dimensions. Absolute infinity. Now what would that look like? Well, that would be the equivalent of non-existence, because existence automatically includes limitations. And there is no need to bring another being into existence to give it the chance to experience total freedom, because total freedom is precisely non-existence. And your non-existing child is therefore already totally free, so keep it that way. So the point of life, of DNA, is to return to its source. We all came out of non-existence and we want to return to it. And the process of life, of existence, is necessary for imperfect, ignorant, stupid, and low-conscious beings to develop themselves towards this perfection. And as long as they remain imperfect, ignorant, stupid, and low-conscious, so long will the process of life be necessary. So long will there be the need to pass our genes onto next generations that will have to proceed this existential work towards perfection. But for now, we are limited. We all have limited intelligence. We are far from perfect. And therefore we exist because of imperfect beings with a limited intelligence that decided to bring us into existence. Only limited beings can bring us into existence, not an unlimited being like God. Life is not a gift from God. It's everything but a gift from God. The greatest gift that God could give you is to never come into existence, because existence is always limited. The only thing that God wants for you is to be a perfect, non-existent being like Himself. But unfortunately, it is due to low conscious and limited beings that we are pulled out of non-existence. And now we have to help to find out the truth about life. We have to help to satisfy the desires of the low conscious beings. We have to help them towards perfection. So basically we are slaves to the low conscious beings. But the problem is that they don't want to acknowledge the fact that existence is itself the biggest problem. It is a problem because your existence is predicated on the satisfaction of a desire, the desire towards perfection. And as long as we don't attain perfection, we will have to deal with unsatisfied desires. And an unsatisfied desire is the definition of a problem. So as long as we exist, we will be pursuing satisfactions, otherwise we will end up in trouble. And my only rational response to life is to leave the non-existent beings alone in their perfect state. And I can only hope that when I die, that I won't get pulled out of non-existence again. Now that is my ultimate wish, my ultimate desire, to be free from desire.